Hi, we're Jan and Dean Fox, actually from Texas, but here in Hawaii because of the military. And we've been coming to Hope Chapel for a wonderful about 5 years, heavily involved in the couples ministry, love life, and any opportunity that we can to reach out to couples in Hope Chapel to strengthen their relationships.
We wanted to share with you a story about our son Derek, who, when he was only about a year old, Dean's in the Air Force, so we're living at an Air Force base. And I really think that instilled in him at a very young age the desire to fly.
Yeah, I think one of the things that was very interesting was we stood at the end of the runway, and if you're familiar with a B-1 bomber, we stood there and the afterburners were directly over our head, and it took off because we were right at the end of the runway, had an opportunity to do that. Not only did the car shake and actually physically move around where it was, which was a pretty big car, but you could see Derek was just excited to be there.
When Derek was 5 years old, he announced, like all kids do when they're that age, that he wanted to be a fighter pilot. And he held on to that. A few months later, when he started kindergarten, we got a letter one day from the school saying that he had failed his eye test. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, he had always kind of walked around, he would watch TV like this with one eye closed, and I always thought it was just a little quirk that he had. But as it turned out, he had a lazy eye. And his left eye was only about 20/50 or 20/60, and we knew that that could potentially keep him from being a pilot if that was something he continued to want to be.
And we knew that, Philippians 4:13, with all things, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me, that we knew that if we stay focused, stay faithful, and if Derek really had a desire to fly, and he wanted to fly, and God intended for him to fly, he'd fly. So we started doing a lot of activity, and Jan was probably at the forefront of that activity.
Well, one of the things that we did, medically we had to do therapy. So Derek wore a patch on one eye, and he had to get glasses, and it was really cute. This little 5-year-old kid goes into the glasses shop, and he immediately says, "I want aviator glasses," and they were huge on his face. They were really big, but they were aviator glasses, so he was really cool. And so we did patch therapy for 6 weeks, and then he wore glasses, and the doctors actually told us that his eyes would continue, it would improve so that they would be matched better, but by the time he got into junior high, that his eyes would probably be worse, and he would wear glasses for the rest of his life.
Right.
But we never told Derek at all. We never mentioned anything to him about the fact that having this eye challenge could prevent him from flying. We never even wanted to let that thought enter his mind, so we just kept building his dream about wanting to be a pilot, and we went through the therapy. Then he wore the glasses that he needed to, and we just kind of waited on God and took it for faith that if he was going to be a pilot, that God would allow him to be a pilot. So from the time Derek was in elementary school all the way through elementary school, junior high, and into high school, he wore glasses. And then when he was a junior, we actually took him to a military doctor and had his eyes just a yearly exam, and the doctor said, "Why is he wearing contacts, or why is he wearing glasses? He doesn't need them." And we were shocked, and he said his eyes are not only perfect, they're actually better than perfect. And I realized right then that God had just totally healed him, and there was no other explanation for it, because it shouldn't have been that way medically.
Yeah, the interesting part is the abundance of blessings and how they just continue to flow. I mean, on June 30th, we had the opportunity this year to actually pen wings on our son Derek, and brand new pilot, which was an awesome experience, phenomenal. I mean, can't ever imagine that feeling, but one of the most awesome times was when Jan got the opportunity to pin the wings on him, and she was standing there, and of course, as Jan does, not here, but as she normally does, tears flowing down her face. I looked at her, I said, "Are you all right?" Her comment was, "They have no idea what he had gone through and what he had been brought through," which I think is more important, to achieve the part where he achieved his dream, goal, and desire, and the plan that God has set for in his life is to be a pilot in the United States Air Force. We're proud of him, we're excited about God, and quite honestly, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And we're just excited about that and fired up, and look forward to not only Derek succeeding, but also taking care of us for us when we get in our old age, in case he sees this. Anything else you want to add?